Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Biz Talk for TikTok show. This is your host, Kyle Kaplanis. Today in the studio, we are going to be talking about the powers that TikTok has for your e-commerce company, no matter how new or small it is. So even for you entrepreneurs listening out there, might not have an e-commerce company, this episode is going to be the one that you want to listen to. Today on the show, I have Matt, who is the owner of Matt's Beard Bar, which is a product that is the quickest and most efficient way to clean up beard trimmings in a bathroom. I have a video clip we'll share later on what that does, what that actually looks like, so that way we can discuss that more. And those of you that are watching this later on the YouTube video can take a look and see what that is. He has a TikTok over on Matt's Beard Bar on TikTok with 36.6 thousand followers. And some of you who listened to my show in the past, you have seen that I've had guests on my show that have millions of followers, some who have hundreds of thousands of followers, but I really, really wanted this particular guest to share his experience and where he's been and showing how TikTok has revolutionized his business with under 100,000 followers, which is so anybody can be there. So that's why I really wanted to have Matt on. So Matt, welcome to Biz Talk for TikTok.
Thank you, Kyle. Thanks so much for having me. I remember when you first reached out, I was like, wow, like this is like the first podcast. This is a great introduction. I appreciate it so much. And yeah, I completely agree. I still feel like I'm fresh, young. It's fresh in my memory of the first day I started. So I think it'll definitely be a good episode.
Absolutely. Awesome. So what I wanted to ask you first is, okay, when you've had this product, have you had this product prior to launching on TikTok?
So a little bit. So I remember I started this. It was this project, if you want to call it. I mean, it's a full scale company, but it still feels like a project. Was
Yeah.
like a COVID baby, you know. Like I was
Right.
I started designing and prototyping, and then once I had something solid, I went to Instagram and a little bit on Reddit and on TikTok, almost kind of like all at once.
Yeah.
And then I just seen the power of TikTok. I was a little bit on it as just like a viewer on my personal account.
Yeah.
Then I made my business account, and as soon as my first video blew up, I said, okay, this is it. I don't even really pay attention to my Facebook, Instagram. I post stuff on there time to time, but TikTok's the hub for sure.
So you basically came up with a product and were like, okay, I got to get on social media. Let's just try on a few platforms and see what happens. And so outside of TikTok, what was the outcomes there? Were you getting any traction at all on Facebook or Instagram with your product?
Honestly, not really. Like there was a little bit. So on my kind of, if we take into Reddit was probably second best. So I found like good subreddits like male grooming or beards. And I just kind of said, hey, I made this. I don't know if you guys struggle with this too, but it got to like the front page of those subreddits for like the day.
Awesome.
So there's some good traction, got some good comments, some good questions. And then Instagram and Facebook were pretty much like nothing happening until I was, I was posting, but there was no one really viewing it. I would follow some accounts. I would try to comment on some big pages, but it was very minimal compared to TikTok or even Reddit. Reddit was pretty decent.
That's cool. No, that's awesome that you bring up Reddit, because it is something that a lot of people don't consider to add into their strategy outside. And it's like reaching people by more of a text feature versus like, videos and stuff. Like, were you using more blog posts, or were you sharing videos on Reddit as well?
It was pictures. So it was kind of like in between. So I would have a couple pictures with the product and like inside the bathroom and just with a caption description and for the post. And I said, this is kind of how it's intended to be used. What do you guys think? Type of thing.
Yeah,
so it wasn't a full scale like action video.
Yeah, exactly. That's cool, man. So like, before we dive in a little bit more about TikTok, which I love about the whole thing. Like when you go to your page, it doesn't look, and I'm not dissing this. This is not a diss at all. This is just a realism for other people that are looking. It's not like high quality. You don't have this big studio where you're showing this product like almost a TV commercial. You're just doing it in your own bathroom, right? And I think that's more realistic for small businesses who think sometimes they think, okay, I got to launch. Now I have to do this like big production to be able to talk about my product. And that's not true. Like you don't need that. And I mean, this is proof in there right now. You just sharing some product photos, which was probably in your own bathroom on Reddit, got some traction. And then not only that, but the videos on TikTok look like they're just right there in your own bathroom too, showing the product. And those really captivated people because why? It looks real. Like, so when I'm just seeing a normal video of somebody in their bathroom that looks unedited, I can picture myself in that scenario. Versus if you were to do it in
Yeah.
a high quality space, you can't visualize that. You just think, oh, this is super fake. This is super commercial, things like that. So that's an important topic to mention for businesses out there. You don't worry about that stuff. Just come with what you have. If you only have a phone, that's all you need right now.
Yeah, it's and just to add on to that, I think like you mentioned the not high production, just regular iPhone use, like realistic scenarios is what you need to have, because if you have high production stuff, it makes it more unrelatable. And even this day and age, with Photoshop and there's like ways you can edit videos to make it seem,
Mm,
if you see something pretty natural, it's more relatable, it's more genuine, and I think that's just like a characteristic of TikTok. Where before I even started my business, I seen like all these videos blow up, and they're just so genuine. It's people like the comedy stuff or just like random things going on. It seems very refreshing compared to Instagram, which to me seems very
yeah.
uh, edited in a way.
Very. It's like that picture perfect life, but behind the scenes it's not like that. Like that's where we are, and that's kind of where social media was for a long time. And I agree. I think TikTok has really brought us back to being human, like being real and raw and showing what the reality actually looks like for not only businesses but just people in general, just being able to be fun and real. And what I love about TikTok as well is like everybody is accepted regardless of like their disabilities, the way they look. If they're just fun and open to talk, they're building communities on there for whoever they are. They don't have this picture perfect self. And there's even some people who are super attractive that aren't even doing that well because people are thinking, oh, cool, that's not really a skill set. What else do you have to show? So it's really cool that it's pushing people outside of their limits and making them have to really show who they are. And that is a really important when it comes to, branding as well, is that people are not just looking for the product now, overhyping the product. People want to hear that story. Like, where did it come from? Who's the people behind it? Like, what's the story there? And I think that's what's really been important for you is that, you're not just talking about the product and it's not just the product focus. You're in the videos, you're talking about your stories. You're talking about the orders that you're doing. You're showing people what does that look like in the back of your car, like the grind of it. And I think that's what's relatable because people can see, wow, this is a real guy that's really working hard for this. I want to support that. Not necessarily the product. Of course they're going to, but sometimes people just generally connect with somebody on their level and want to support that because they're sharing their story. So I think that's really, incredible. And I wanted to mention, so like when you started TikTok, was it a instant, like did you get instant success there, or was it a few posts? Did it take a while to get those viral videos?
Um, I think I believe it was my third or fourth post that went viral. I guess the definition of that is like, I think it got like at the time like over 100,000 views or something,
Yeah.
and over time it went over to 1 million views.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think I got pretty lucky with that, because one, my product is like, hey, this all started because I couldn't find a product out there like it. So
Yeah.
um, I realized it's something new and it's interesting, and it was, but like you said, it was just kind of organic video. It just looked like very simple in the bathroom, and that kind of took off, and that's when everything changed for me. It was I just posted another video like I usually do at like it was around 6 p.m. and then I was getting ready to go to a friend's house. We were having a couple drinks or whatever,
Yeah.
and I was getting a little tipsy, and then all of a sudden the orders started coming in. I didn't know what to do. I was very overwhelmed, and I was just trying to document everything like day to day, just
Right.
almost like, a personal diary, but online with everyone. So
Yeah.
I kind of had that intention to make it relatable with other people because it was so surreal happening. I'm just a regular dude, and it just started taking off. So why not document it?
Exactly. I love that you say that documentation because that's telling your brand story, and having people be in the moment with you is what is so compelling. And I think brands that are failing now are because they have that lack of connecting with their audiences on their whole concept level. So like I keep saying this before, so many brands now are so used to, like, in the past it was just talk about your product, and sometimes you go to people's Instagram pages and it's just like, let's say I sell mugs, it's only mugs, that's all you see on the whole thing. But in reality, you're like, what is that mug? Like, what's the story behind it? Why should I buy that? Like, who are creating it? What was the backstory there? Because there's so many products out there that now we're like, especially Gen Z is really focused on that story. So it's really important for businesses that are going to continue to grow in the space as Gen Z ages up, where they already have a huge monetary power out there to be able to make product purchases, or influence in the house to make product purchases, is really important to connect on their level. And so it's proof right there that your story, just sharing your product on there like in a real way, connected with people to make some purchases. And I wanted to quickly share a video because people might be thinking, well, okay, what is this product anyway? Because you said there's nothing like that. I wanted to share a quick video of your product really quick. This is a video that you shared on your TikTok and wanted to share it with the audience today. If you're listening on the podcast right now, go ahead and go to your TikTok app, pause this podcast, go to your TikTok app and search up Matt's Beard Bar and scroll through some of his videos so you can understand his product right now, and then come back. Here's the video.
Okay, if you're asking if it was a necessary purchase, I don't really have an answer for you, buddy. But if you're asking if I think everybody on this planet just needs one of them, the answer's a little obvious.
That's huge right there. Like, for one, I love that video because it's one of your more recent videos, but it shows the product, but it also shows how many, like, look at all those products ready to go, ready to be shipped out. That's massive. Like, that's huge.
Yeah, yeah, it was really it's a yeah, and one of the most important things about running my business is documenting stuff and making random videos, and just like I'll just be like, going through my day, I'd be like, hang on, maybe I should take out my phone and just do a quick video. I can use this video later. And that's what that was. So I had all those parts of the video were like all previous stuff I had, and I just found a good audio. I'm like, oh, this would be perfect.
Yes.
So I went ahead, took some, old videos, some that made sense to be put together in a video, and just posted it. And yeah, and that's what it turned into.
Yeah, and that video right now has 3.8 million views, which is like, people would dream for that for their business. And how much did that video cost you to get that views?
It's free.
Right?
It's crazy. There's no point in doing paid ads even. It's especially on Instagram. That's nothing can really beat TikTok at this point in time.
Exactly.
At the time of this, summer 2021, I think TikTok is like miles ahead.
Exactly. And for like a CPM like that, let's say you were to buy that many views for an ad, that would cost you, with like traditionally probably a $10 CPM on TikTok, that would be like a $40,000 video that, that people would have to buy to reach that many people. And it's like, but you were able to do that for free and target the right people, because clearly that video wasn't just a dud. It has increased your sales. Like videos continually like that do well, your sale, you probably noticed on your back end, the sales just going crazy. Is that true?
Oh, yeah. It's very dormant and spiky. So it's like a roller coaster. It's like it's very stable, then all of a sudden, boom, just straight up within 24 hours, just huge amounts of scales. I try to build up my back order, or not my back order, my inventory, and it just completely crushes it. And then I'm on a back order again. And I try to do a lot of preemptive stuff, like put a little banner on my website, say, hey, there's going to be a little bit of back order. I try to reach out if there is a back order. I reach out once a week and just kind of give people an update, like where I'm at with orders, when they can. I just try to be really, really transparent with my customers, because at the end of the day, they are paying for something, and anyone would be wondering, hey, if it's not arriving, where is it? So before they start asking me, I try to just give them some information and transparency on my end.
Yeah, no, that's super cool. So tell me a little bit about like some of these viral videos. How much orders do you typically see from like big spikes like that? Like, what do you see coming through?
So it obviously ranges, right? And it's not always correlated to the amount of views, because
Okay.
I
Yep.
had a video that had like 4 million views, and that kind of translated into about, let's give or take, 2,000 orders.
Yeah.
And then this one has 3.8 million, so it's less views, but it had like close to 4,000 orders from
Yeah.
that video. So
That's mad. And
yeah.
you know what's interesting? I'm glad that you kind of brought to, because sometimes people feel like they need these huge viral videos with millions and millions of views to make product sales, but that's not necessarily true, because, like you said, the correlation sometimes isn't there. Sometimes your video might go crazy, but it's not reaching the right audiences, right? Or sometimes you could have a video that has 100,000 views and it's all the right people, and that video can translate into even more sales for your end. So people are focused on virality. It's not necessary to be able to be successful. You could even have 10,000 view video that you just, like I said, reach the right people, and those people are now going to tell their friends and make sales. So it's cool that, people that are listening, they might think, oh, I need 4 million views, all these things, but that's not true. Have you seen like product sales from videos that obviously were a little bit less as well?
Yeah, I think if we're talking numbers like that, there's some videos I have where I got like 50 to 60,000 views, so nothing too crazy. Even 30, 40,000 views.
Yeah.
1,000 views, where it's right on the money. In my situation, I kind of talk about what the problem is and why my solution is the best one out there, and it doesn't have to have a million, like a lot of views. And also with TikTok, like sometimes people might see a really short video. It's only like 6 seconds long, and people watch it twice or whatever. And that can, like, if you watch it twice, every person watch it, you just doubled your views. But sometimes you might have a longer post and people only watch, half of it or whatever. And views might not look as much as a shorter video, but it's just as powerful.
Totally.
So yeah, there's a lot of, with TikTok videos, sometimes I try so hard to make a good video, I'm editing this and that, and it just flops. I have a lot of those, so it's, you can see 1 million views, and I mean, I'm kind of, only at 36,000. So to some people that might be a lot, some people might that be a little, but I really don't have an advantage as far as making a video and having it be seen by a lot of people. My last one, I still have 36,000 followers, but only 600 people seen it. So it's the playing field is really even, and it's very anyone's got a shot at it. There's no reason why if people like your video and interact with it and stuff, you'll blow up. You make it fun or interesting or entertaining in some way. And as you know, and I'm sure your followers know, TikTok is just very genuine and just something that it doesn't even have to be that interesting per se, like something crazy like jumping out of a plane. It can just be a conversation you're having, or just and it can really take off. So yeah, definitely recommending just trying it out, try different things. different styles, different, types of TikToks, different sounds, and just kind of wait and see and just look what people are doing, what they're interacting with.
100%. I love that. It really is true. Like TikTok is a level playing field for everybody. Sometimes you see, some of these huger creators, and it's just because they were able to grow, and yes, you're going to see them more. They're going to harbor a lot more views. But for the main people that are, coming to TikTok, regardless of your following, even if you're at 200,000, somebody that's brand new with less than 1,000 still has the same opportunity to reach views. And I had somebody on my show named Willy Wonka TikTok, which a lot of people know him. He's got over 20 million followers. And he even said that there's accounts out there that have less than 10 followers who have outreached him on a video views for the day than his account with over 20 million. So that's like proof right there that, everybody has the equal opportunity. You have the opportunity to reach those For You pages for free and not have to pay, where some of these other, sources like Facebook and Instagram that are so overly saturated, they have enough content on their platforms right now that in order to get reach organically, well, not organically, good luck with that. That's really hard work. You're going to have to grind hard. But in order to get a big reach and be able to get these sales, you're going to have to pay. You're going to have to pay a lot of money for ads and all those things, right? And that's what people are thinking. But why not add TikTok to your strategy and test out the waters there with real people who you have the opportunity to reach? And the cool thing is, I feel like TikTok has a good community where you get feedback pretty quickly. So if let's say you're testing out a product and you wanted to ask questions to random people, instead of sending out a survey that you don't have a database of, you might only have your friends and family and they might be a little biased. Why not reach out to a community that you have no idea, and you could get actual feedback really quickly from the the TikTok audience and to give you stuff. Have you used TikTok in that regard, like asking questions or saying like, hey, is this a pain point for you in your life? Like with beard trimmings around, like, are people commenting things back?
Yeah, that's I think one of the most powerful things about TikTok is that the engagement with your followers or whoever's watching your video is super high. Inside the comments, you get you get questions, you get everything. I love interacting with people. You can literally stitch the question, make a whole video as an answer response. And I remember seeing or thinking back in the day, like, oh, wouldn't emails be cool if I could just like somehow upload a quick YouTube video as a response to them? I'm like, that's literally what you can do with TikTok. And
right.
I think going back to your question about getting feedback or talking, I mean, my two smaller sizes of beard bars were inspired by one of my followers, Liz. She's like, hey, you should make a smaller one. And then that comment got more likes. So I seen that other people thought the same thing.
Yes.
And I went on my end, designed something smaller, prototyped it, and put it out there. And again, replied to her, be like, hey, I made this. And then that kind of took off. And now it's a standard product with me that's still on my store. So I think it's very important because closing that feedback cycle super tight to just be able to talk with your audience and see what their pain points are.
Mm-hmm.
They'll tell you what's good, what's bad, and all you have to do is really listen. They're kind of guiding you. So it's
exactly.
If you know how to listen, I think that's I guess maybe a important trait as an entrepreneur. But if you can do that, it's the answers are there.
Totally. And that's like what I love about it as well, is because, on other platforms, or maybe you're just running on your website and, you have to send out those surveys, and it might take you a lot longer to understand where your product needs to be or what people would like to see. That could have, like, if you weren't on TikTok, that might have took you years to understand to make a smaller size, right? But with TikTok being so engaging and people literally just being like, almost wanting to help in a way, like, hey, you should try this and this. People are not afraid to say that in the comments, which is really helpful for people that are building something. Even if you've had a business for a long time, this is a great way to get new, fresh perspective on your business. But how cool is that your audience was able to say that? And maybe in your mind, because you're so busy and focused with these orders of your regular size product, that you were like, oh, that's a good idea. And I love that you said that you paid attention to people liking that particular comment and saying, hey, this comment is just getting a lot of likes. That means that other people are interested in that particular statement. And I think that's another thing that I like is people are very active comment section. So therefore you might get a lot of likes on things. So you can even ask people comments within the video, like in the comment section, you can even make a couple questions and see like test things out in there and see how many people like things. And there's so many opportunities for people to use to get feedback without it being like salesy. Like, you know what I mean? You can make it so natural where people are just wanting to help you naturally and not being like, oh, you're just wanting to like gain more stuff or whatever. Nobody has that. They're just wanting to be involved. So that's really cool. I love that story that you know, a fan or a follower were able to give you that guidance. That's super cool.
Yeah, I feel like it's that's the whole beauty of it. That's why it's when you talk about building a brand and building a community and having a story behind it, it's TikTok is it's almost when you think about like what would I need. TikTok is pretty much that. You make videos, you can interact with fans, they can see your past stuff, they can DM you. There's links to the website. Everything is like honestly, I think about like how to improve TikTok, and sometimes I struggle because like there's literally a little bit of everything, and
I know.
I love how people just, you know, I saw something the other day that was kind of weird. It's like, hey, someone's using my sound without my permission, and we're like, that TikTok is all about sharing and using each other's stuff. So it's
It is.
stitching or duetting. So it's I think very big on collaboration and stuff like that, and that's what I love.
Exactly.
That's kids everyone's so creative. That app amazes me at how like creative people can get, and I'm like, wow.
I know. I do love that as well, and I agree with you. I think TikTok's done a really good job on. They also listen to they're constantly adding features that are like, oh my gosh, like can you make this any better? Like it just keeps getting better and better. Now they have the 3-minute video, which is really, really, really huge for some businesses for how-to videos to show a longer step-by-step process on how to, like you could, you know, show a longer video on how it works, like how you can clean the trimmings, like what is it like from start to finish, and you can definitely make that into 3 minutes, which is so cool. So businesses out there sometimes are thinking, well, under 60 seconds I can't fit everything in. Well, now they have the 3-minute option for you, which is so cool. They have playlist options where you can almost sort your videos in specific categories, you know. The reply to comment feature, nobody else has something like that. Like that's huge. Just like you said, stitching and duetting is huge. So that way your community can join, like, hey, stitch me if you have my product, stitch me like you using it in your house, like being able to get real feedback like within videos. There's so much opportunities there for people to use, and a lot of people are still using the traditional Instagram and things like that where you can't be really collaborative, creative together. And that's what you said, like it's like a collaboration where everyone gets to just have fun with each other and share those you know like insights and everything. And that's what I love about it as well, for sure.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, now going back to Instagram, it just feels really clunky, and it just seems very outdated at this point. And I know it's, you know, very big. If you started on, someone starts on TikTok and that, or on Instagram, and it built up their brand, you know, keep going with it. But if you're starting fresh, I say get the handle for your brand or your service or whatever you're doing, and go ahead and make it. But try TikTok. See, just, you know, see for yourself where the results are, and it's
Yeah,
it's an organic reach, and it's super
exactly.
powerful. I mean, even
Exactly.
if I made a paid ad, I feel like you see that little paid sponsored post, and it just we're so conditioned to see an ad, and you're just like, it doesn't even really register. You're like, this is
Yeah.
paid for, and this isn't, you know, natural, and you just move past it. So
Hmm.
it's almost like it's a really great app for just organic reach.
Totally. No, I mean, I couldn't agree more. We are conditioned with that, um with ads, you skip them. Like you're over it, right? And I think that's where we are. That's why I said it's really important now to humanize your brand, make it more human, be able to be relatable for people to watch. And clearly it's working for you, because if you were to make it like an advert, people would just skip it and be annoyed with you. But because you're just relatable, raw, and real, share it, and they want to support that. And that's really the important thing to share there. And I think that's going to be the future. I think that even big brands, if they don't continue to do that in the future, people are going to care less about it. They don't want to, they're not going to support those people anymore, because they're not sharing their realism behind them. So I like, and I'm even saying this, like, money can buy you so much. And a good example of that is Quibi. I mean, did you ever remember that streaming service, Quibi? They had billions of dollars,
Familiar.
right? They had billions of dollars. They were like a platform streaming service, 10-minute videos, but they weren't really connecting with their audience on what the audience wanted to hear. Like, people were commenting all the time, like, this is dumb, you should add more shows like this. Yet they were not listening to their audience or anything like that. And it failed. And they had tons of money backing them up. And that's a great example of, just because you think you have all this money, that doesn't mean anything. How are you going to relate to your community? How are you going to listen to them? And if you're taking the time to actually speak with them, that's what's going to keep them around. And they're going to be a fan for a long time. Like, they're going to love your product because they know they had a conversation with you, or they know a little bit about your story. So when they're using it, it connects to them on a deeper level versus them just helping, clean up their beard shavings or whatnot. But so it's just, there's so much stuff there. I wanted to ask you quickly too, because this is an interesting thing. Do you have a lot of female purchasers?
Yes. So my obviously I don't have the exact number, but I from what I see when I'm packaging orders and orders coming in, and also with since my account is a business account, I have it tells me male to female ratio of followers, and it's almost on the dot 70-30, 70% females,
Female,
30% males of followers. So obviously I struck something right there. And for me, I was in that situation where I created this product because I was so upset with my roommate who wouldn't clean up after himself, and we share a bathroom. And I was almost like in what seems like to be a wife and a husband, that the wife is always getting upset.
Yeah.
So turned out to be very relatable.
No, that's what's cool too. Like, that happened to a buddy of mine who also is in an e-commerce situation on TikTok. He sells a product called the Scruffy. You may have seen him. He sells a neck shaver. It looks a little bit interesting. It's like something you'd see out of the Saw movie. It's
Really?
very interesting. Yeah. But it was geared for men. It's basically like to be able to, like, instead of going to a hairdresser or having somebody help you, be able to kind of clean up your neckline on your neck.
Yeah.
Was able to do that, but he was sharing it on TikTok and it blew up. Same thing, lots of product sales. But the interesting thing was exactly the female audience came in and was like, okay, this product's for men, but does this work on legs? And he was like, never even intended to use that product for legs. And now it's one of the number one sellers for females because they're buying them for their legs. And now he's changed for her feature, which is huge. He would have never have gotten that before. And now it's easy for women. And so, like, that's what's fun, I think, about TikTok as well, is if he, on Instagram, it's so niche focused, you might have not even have targeted any women. It might have just shown men and it would have been slow. But because of TikTok and the female audience coming in and saying this, that's really cool. That was a pain point for them. Like, ooh, is this going to be faster for me to shave my legs? And same with you. Like, you understood that pain point of somebody not cleaning up their beard trimmings, and guys all been in that situation where somebody's probably nagged us in our life about it, right? Like my wife too. We have two separate sinks. Like I have mine over here, hers over there, but she's likes that because sometimes there's beard trimmings or whatnot, and she still gets annoyed with me even though I have my own sink over there. So I think all of us out there, we definitely need to use that beard bar to help our wives feel good. But a lot of wives are like, oh, I need something so I can clean it up, or here, use this. So there's going to be a lot of women out there that are like purchasing these things for their husbands, boyfriends, fathers, or whatever. So that's really cool that, you know, you were able to still target that. And that's an interesting statistic, 70-30, even though your product is geared mostly for males, unless there's females out there that are dry shaving their legs on the counter or something. But
yeah, I mean, it was totally intended. Like, this is for, like, I literally made one like for my cousin who was my roommate to use. And I just ended up using it more than him, but it was just a good, very satisfying way to use it.
yeah,
And same thing, I get it. And there's a lot of females buy it as a gift, or they say like it's a gift for him, but really if he uses it, then I'm the one that's benefited from it. So it's a lot of, you know, stuff like that. And I don't, you know, whoever is supposed to be, it's geared towards men to use it, but sometimes I see, oh, I'm going to be the one who ends up using it, this or that. And my goal, my mission has always been just make sure every sink in America is clean. And it's been working out pretty good, but it is very funny to see how females are the ones who are buying it, are interested in it, and are excited for it too. But also the guys too. A lot of guys buy it for themselves. They like to, you know, they like to clean up, and just the other solutions out there like toilet paper. It just, there are ways to clean up, but it's definitely like a convenience type of product, because it just works better in multiple ways. But other things work. It's almost like Post-it notes versus a regular piece of paper and tape. Like, you can use, you know, regular tape and paper, but like Post-it notes like are just a little bit more convenient. And
exactly,
people have disposable income, and they see this as a big pain point and are glad to buy it. That was my situation too. I was super willing to, I wanted to buy something. I was willing to spend good money on a product like that, and it just wasn't out there. And I said, let me see if other people are willing to buy it. And that was kind of like a valuable lesson I learned, was because obviously your friends and family would say it's a good idea, but then you find out strangers think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
And then it gets to the point where strangers are actually buying it. So it's like, oh, this is a really good idea. So it's just like validation, different levels of validation. And I think that's was cool to see. And it's all possible through TikTok too. And then the reviews come into, and people will say like, hey, in the comments, they'll say like, oh, I'm thinking about buying this. And then one of my followers who's had the beard bar said, this is amazing. And they're already like talking with each other between like verified buyers and people that are potentially new customers too. So it's really cool to start seeing that community kind of like build itself up, even if I'm not available all the time.
No, I agree. Like, it's so cool. There are many people that you know, that are needing to come somewhere. TikTok should be their first stop. I really do. And like for a funnel system, because a lot of people talk sales and they talk sales, they talk funnels, things like that. And crazy enough, a lot of people don't even think of it. They think like, oh, email funnel systems and the Instagram to kind of feed people in. But TikTok is like really one of those top like tiers on the funnel. Just drives organic people, and then those people will stream into your other platforms as well. You probably have seen that as well. You probably have seen a few people come and follow your Instagram from TikTok. Have you seen that?
Yep. Yeah, that's almost where all my followers come from. Is at this point, it's when sometimes I make a couple. Instagram's got reels now too, so I see some stuff like where people who aren't following you can see your videos, which is, I think they're making a step in the right direction, but still kind of behind TikTok. But yeah, most of them, it's like you said, it's they kind of spread into other outlets. They reach out to me on email. They follow my Facebook page. They like kind of like go and move around like different areas of the web. So just to find more stuff about me, I think.
Exactly. And, you know, I wanted to share that for brands out there who are listening, or anybody that, because even as a person, you're still a brand. You're your own personal brand, regardless of what you're doing in your life. Even if you're just wanting to share your story, you're still kind of a brand. So I think it's really important for everybody to kind of have all these socials, because some people are like, oh my gosh, another social media. And that's one of the common pain points that people say is like, I don't have time. But the thing is, TikTok is something that I think everyone should take a part of and do. But for your other socials, try to change it up wherever you are. Don't just sharing the same thing. I understand taking TikToks and putting them on Reels. That's just a no-brainer. That makes to be able to do that. But within your regular feed, maybe use that part to show more product images or images of you as a person out there, and share more of a blog story within the caption. And then on Facebook, you could share something different with your community. So that way, when people are coming to these pages, they're not just seeing the exact same thing. Like, you want to give people a new little piece of the puzzle wherever they go, so that way they want to go to these other places. Because if it's the same thing, then what's the point, like, going to your other socials, right? Like, if they could just come here and it's everything's there. So a lot of people do fail with that. They just repurpose everything. And I think repurposing is great, but I also think it can be detrimental to your business. So, because if you do little bits, you're going to reach more people. So that's another thing that I would suggest for people that are listening. That's just a little tip for me. But tips from you, like in regards to, small businesses looking to come to this platform, anything that you can relay?
Yeah, I mean, just going off what you said, I think I think was one of my biggest realizations when I was like coming onto TikTok was I was obviously like soaking in type of videos and like what's working, what's not working before posting and stuff. And it's one example is seeing big brands that come onto TikTok, and it's just very like high production, or it just something just I call it smells weird. Like
Yeah.
something's off. Like it's just like a complete ad, and it just like fails. But I see some brands who nail it. Like
Yeah.
a lot of like actually now like the sports teams are actually pretty funny. Like the Detroit
Yes.
Lions will comment on pages and be like, no, come to the tryouts or something on like a
Yeah.
random like kids like 6-year-olds video of like kicking
Yes.
through a football. And it's just like it gives that human element, which
Totally.
is, and you can be a brand and you can do that. And that's like kind of like what gets I think people excited too. So there's two ways you can do it with there's like a bad way where it just doesn't, it seems like whoever made this video or whoever's in charge hasn't spent time on the app to understand it. And I know
That's
people
the key.
talk about that a lot. And I think going back to just starting out, if you're starting out too, it just take time to listen. Take time to listen and see what's going on, how people are reacting. Right now it's a huge melting pot of different age groups, and but there's obviously like a, maybe not a culture, but just like a vibe to it, where it's just like very going back to the organic thing. And I mean, honestly, I don't feel like I'm that interesting of a person. I'm maybe a little bit more introverted, but I think the actual process of what I'm doing is super interesting, and that's what interests me. And it's almost like
Exactly.
if I were to make videos, because I think about myself like last year, and now I'm getting all these opportunities, and news media's outlets are reaching out and stuff, and I'm like, what really changed? Because I'm sure this can relate with some entrepreneurs who maybe haven't struck gold, quote unquote. That when I look back on myself, I think I was enough. Like I used to think that everyone struggles with self-doubt when things aren't working out, and it's, what am I doing wrong? I'm seeing all these people blow up, and sometimes it's just just a minor tweak that you can do. And I mean, just put it out there, see what the feedback is, and either pivot if it's not working, or give people what they want if they love what you're doing, and just keep trying. Because I think that's all you can do, and it's not really up to you if you think it's a good product. It's just up to the people. So don't try and really spend years and years trying to perfect it. Just get something out there and see what the feedback is. If people, I think, have a really good eye for being able to see what it can become. So even if it's just a prototype, they can see past that. So you don't have to perfect everything, get a full stage production to make some videos and have your product perfect. Just go out there, try it. And I try to preach that maybe subconsciously with my videos, where it's just, I'm not in a suit and tie. I'm, just walking around. I got a little office. There's nothing like too crazy. And it is possible. So it's just putting yourself out there.
I love that, Matt. Like that was a great last statement to, this podcast. That was really, really powerful right there. And, it is really true. Like you said, how sometimes you compare yourself to others in your thing. And I have to remind people this as well, because we all do it. We all compare ourselves. Sometimes you see a person that has created a product and they're doing so well and their business is blowing up. But the thing is, we have to remind ourselves that they're at a different point in that journey, right? Where they had a starting point back here that you didn't see yet. You're just seeing them in the middle part where you want to be, but you're at the start. So we all have to remind ourselves that we all are on different paths. So you can't compare, because somebody might have already started a while ago and now you're in the beginning. So you cannot compare yourself to that person, because if you had a conversation with them, they would say, yeah, well, 6 months ago I was struggling too. Like, you got to keep going. So it really is the truth right there, regardless of how old you are or where you are in your journey. We all have a starting point, and the whole point is you have to continue to see results. Like, if you just stop, then you'll never see those, because it's there. So stop comparing yourself. You're your own person. Your brand is your own thing. Just put it out there. Don't overthink. Just go with it and see what your audience says. And they might tweak it to where you and give you some ideas where you never even have thought that. And don't be afraid to just put yourself out there. We're all human. And the more human you can be, the more real response that you're going to get from your community. And it is true, exactly like you said, from brands who you smelt something wrong there, right? It is true. Those are the brands that are using their same brand focus and bringing it to TikTok, when you can't be like that. You have to understand the platform. You have to understand the culture within this space. You have to realize that your brand needs to be a lot more human and make comments that are unique and fun and a little bit interesting that goes along. I mean, I've shared this brand a few times, but it's just one that really stands out to me all the time is and it's a European airline called Ryanair. I don't know if you've ever seen them. Have you seen them?
That's a great example. They're funny. It's not like offensive, but it's also not like
professional.
Like all professional. It's like it's real, So yeah, I totally know them. Yeah.
And look, like, we don't even have that airline here. Yet I would most likely fly them just because of their marketing and how funny they are. And it seems like they're actually real. And for that business that, they're probably, I mean, they're, having a whole airline, you have to have money. It's not like they're a small business, right? And for them to give the go ahead for their marketing team to make some of their videos, I commend them, because that takes guts. And right now, I think for your business to stand out, you have to make some gut moves like that. You have to make some big decisions. And with your marketing is going to be huge. And, I just wanted to share this last tip before we kind of close this out. But I had my business partner and one of my mentors, Duke McKenzie, on my podcast. And he even said, the marketing world is shifting fast. And the thing is, there's a lot of these big Fortune 500 companies. And one of the most jobs that are most like not secure right now, that they could be losing their jobs, is the CMOs of these companies, because with the marketing being changing so fast in the industry, is if these CMOs are not figuring out how to fit in this new culture, they're gonna, the companies are gonna let them go and find somebody new that can come in and do it. Like, you have to be bold right now. You have to be different, or people will just eat you up. And these small businesses coming in can be the next big business, because they're making the right decisions that we all want to see. So it's very cool.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I think it's very valuable just to see what's out there and to spend some time in the platform. I think TikTok's a great platform, and if you spend some time in there, you can really learn a lot, and you can see the potential of it. Even if it's not your brand, you can see someone else doing it too, and that might give you inspiration for something down the future. But yeah, I go back to your last point really quick was when you mentioned to keep going. That's, I think, super important. And sometimes it can seem exhausting, but it's better to slow down and get some rest and to keep going than burn yourself out and work 24/7 for 6 months and then burn out and then stop. So
Yep.
it's moving on. If you need to take time to rest and for your own health, do it, but do that so you can keep doing it. Kind of like tortoise and the hare example.
So true. It really is. Like, if you got to take baby steps, that's fine. Any movement forward is fine. Even if you got to, like, you can only work an hour that day, don't beat yourself up about it. You're still moving forward, right? It's like versus exactly like you burn yourself out and you have to take 6 months off. Well, you could have took baby steps and you would have beat yourself to that next point. So it really is true. Don't beat yourself up where you are in your process. Just keep trying and when you're ready, and if you need to take breaks, do it. That's really important. And that's anybody, regardless if you're not really doing this for business or anything. It's important to take those mental health days to just recuperate on being human, and that is human. Like, people will respect that as well. Matt, so I wanted to say, for anybody listening right now, Matt, talk to us about how we can purchase your product and where we can go to find that.
Sure, of course. So it's right on my website. It's Matt's Beard Bar. So it's Matt with one T, MATS, and then beard, like facial hair beard, and BAR. So mattsbeardbar.com. You can Google it, Matt's Beard Bar. It's first thing that pops up. And right in there, products are right on the front page. You can click them to see reviews or descriptions. And the process is pretty simple. Shopify makes it really easy. So it's we're all right there.
Awesome. And I made it even easier for people that are listening to this podcast right now. All you have to do is hit the description notes of this podcast episode. You will see all the links to Matt's pages, to his TikTok, to his Instagram, and to his website, where you can go ahead and make that purchase for the Matt's Beard Bar, because it's really going to help you if you're a wife and you hate your husband's or boyfriend's hair everywhere, or if you're a roommate like you, like in situation, he had a roommate who was a little bit messy with his, make that, or if yourself, you just like to keep things awesome product that I think you guys should definitely check out. Buy it for a friend. And today, this podcast is going to be going out on Wednesday, but today's Father's Day. So if it's you could be buying this for a late Father's Day gift. Let's say you forgot something, or you can say that something was in the mail and just hasn't got here yet. You can still purchase one of those and head over to Matt's Beard Bar to buy one of those. And quickly, I just wanted to share, there was a couple comments that came through, and I just like to shout people out that have made comments. And the first one is Kathy Vargas. She just said, "Hey, I'm from Costa Rica. Hey, Kathy, I just wanted to shout you out and say thank you for listening to the podcast." And a good friend of mine, Travis Lochner, he's awesome. He's said, "Loving the stream setup and happy Father's Day." Thank you, Travis. I appreciate you. Lastly, my wife Emily said, "It looks awesome and happy Father's Day. We love you." Thanks, baby. Love you, and see you upstairs in a minute. But yeah, thank you, Matt. I appreciate your time today. This was a great episode. I'm to share this, and people listening, this is a great episode to come back to give you some insights and give you motivation to continue on your process, where regardless of where you are, you have these opportunities, and TikTok is here to launch your business. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me, Kyle. It's been a pleasure, and what you got going on here is amazing. Keep it up.
Thank you, sir.